So Nerf has finally realized how cool extra firing options are. Modulus Tri-Strike review? Let's get into it. A Tri-Strike, the newest addition to the Modulus line, and as you can see we have here the Gaze Blaster and two new cool attachments. On the back of the box the whole lineup is updated and includes also the upcoming other attachments from 2016. The only one missing is the knife actually, but maybe that's because we don't get it in Europe, so it's not like put on the picture. Overall we are now close to 30 attachments, so better collect them all. Starting out with the main blaster, which is basically a pistol and has the size of the Retaliator, more or less. Which looks pretty cool. The handle is awesome, really comfortable, and the overall silhouette I think is really nice. The Tri-Strike blaster belongs to the family of the bolt action blasters, which means you need this bolt here and you have to feed it through the respective hole on one side and then close it up with the knob from the other side. For this piece here I actually used my Dremel and drilled out some of the plastic which usually hooks onto the bolt, and because I'm planning to modify this blaster so it's easier that way, and this thing comes off more easily. If you don't do it, it usually has a nice responsive click, and yeah, that's basically it. So first thing you need to do is to prime the blaster, and then you can feed in the magazine and back forward and you're ready to go. Moving on with the first attachment, which comes with the Tri-Strike, which is basically a mega dart launcher. So you simply load up the darts into the barrels, push the slide forward and then just pull it back as fast as you can. So basically it works like the Demolisher missile launcher, just instead of the missile or rocket it shoots mega darts, and you have 4 of those. The mega dart launcher has a smart AR system, which means it doesn't really matter which barrel you actually load up, and that's really cool because it's just easier to use. The second attachment of the Tri-Strike is the missile launcher, where you have the launcher itself and also the stock which houses the pump to fire off the missile. And the cool thing about this one is actually that you can like connect these two pieces together to get like your own individual blaster. To fire off the missile you have to pull back the stock right here and then smack it back forward as hard as you can. Alternatively, you could also pull this whole thing against your shoulder, but it's kind of hard to build up that much speed or like pressure to provide the performance that you would like to have. No. So this is how the Tri-Strike looks in its final form. So with the Tri-Strike you basically have 3 options to tag your enemies. First we have the elite darts, the mega darts and the missile, which is pretty cool, but I actually don't really like the setup. First of all, if you have like a bolt action blaster or like, I don't know, a mechanical priming blaster, I don't really like to have these extra underbarrel attachments or master keys if you want, because usually when you play with the blaster you always have your offhand on the priming slide or handle or whatever. So this whole thing gets really front heavy. And for the missile launcher, it's really in the way on this position, and even if I can still like look above it, it's really annoying to have this tube in your face and it just doesn't feel good. That being said, I like the attachments way better on the original Modulus ECS10. In this setup I have my offhand always on the mega launcher and always at the ready, and other than that it also counters the front heaviness, which is in my opinion way cooler. And also the missile launcher attaches to the side rail and it doesn't, you know, block my vision when I try to aim at somebody. So that's way cooler in my opinion. And now back to the main blaster, which I like a lot. The handle is way more comfortable than the original ECS-10 and you know, it just feels nice. The priming mechanism with the bolt feels nice, but I personally don't really like this kind of priming mechanism. The mag release button is a little bit out of reach of my firing hand, and that might be annoying to some people, but you can still do it with like your offhand using your thumb and then still do it in one go. The last thing is the slam fire option, which means you just hold down the trigger and every time you push back the bolt in the forward position, the dart will fire off. Which is fun, but I don't know, I don't really use that kind of option. The Mega Dart Launcher is pretty cool despite the typical problem of smart AR systems, which is having the darts popping out if you shoot it too fast. Although this time it worked. The one thing I don't understand although is that why it doesn't fit onto the Recon Mark II blaster. And see, as you can see, this part here is basically in the way and there's no chance to put it on there without like modifying the Mark II. On the original Retaliator though, it fits just fine and clicks in really nicely and no wobble at all, so that's pretty cool. The missile launcher is not really effective in gameplay, but I personally really like it. It's just a fun, I don't know, element to shoot around with. And again, I really don't understand why the designers of Nerf didn't think about the possibility to put the missile launcher onto the bottom rail of the ECS-10. So the tubing is really a little bit too short and it's a shame that it doesn't work out. So overall, I think the Tri-Strike is pretty cool because it comes like with really cool attachments, and even though I'm not a big fan of the main blaster, it definitely has its place in Nerf. And this bolt action is really fun, but just not like, I don't know, really good for actual gameplay. And yeah, what I almost forgot is like the magazine is actually just 10 round and not 12, what you would have expected. The reason for that is maybe just cosmetics, I guess. So, you know, it just looks better overall in terms of like the silhouette. So if you like the concept of the Tri-Strike, you might also like this blaster right here. It's something I built like a while ago and basically is the same thing, just without the missile launcher. So feel free to check out the video, which is linked up here. And that's it for today. That was my Tri-Strike review. Don't forget to leave a comment. Thanks for watching and I see you next week.